Yoko Taro is something of an enigma. He's famous for the creation of the Drakengard series and, of course, the NieR series. But up until NieR Automata, the gameplay of his games were, in complete honesty, pretty bad. But then, boom! 2017 rolls around, NieR Automata comes out, developed by Platinum Games, funded by Square Enix. They just pop the fuck off. Like, look at this, there's no competition. So now that Yoko Taro has resources, he said,
"Run that back."
I was really excited about hearing this news because I wanted to know the origin of one of my favorite games of all time. And yeah, I did want to play the original, but with how dated the gameplay was and how many hoops I had to jump through just to play the game, I just thought I'd wait 7 months instead. So then I sat there waiting for almost an entire year. Then, when it finally came out, I hopped right in, and immediately I realized something. We go!
Beans, what the fuck?
Without further ado, NieR Replicant is a game. So let's begin with our cast here. Our protagonist is NieR. He's your standard Japanese protagonist. He's got no parents, no family, nothing, except for a little sister. But she suffers from magical cancer, so it'd kind of be a dick move to not find a cure for her. And of course, since it's a Yoko Taro game, we have the mandatory hot white-haired girl, and she's technically not a girl, but we don't talk about that part. And now my personal favorite, Grimoire Weiss. I love this character. He is so fucking funny. He just has the best interactions with the crew, and he's kind of what glues them all together, really. And finally, we have our boy Emile. Everybody loves Emile. And if you don't, you can take the exit on the left. Yoko Taro just does a great job of tying all these characters together, especially while maintaining all the color in their personalities. Nobody really outshines each other. They kind of just work together as a conglomerate. They're really just a group of pals that just have their own issues, and they slowly get solved just by being around each other. They learn the value of comrades, and that being alone just sucks compared to just being with your friends. Every character's voice actor just nailed their part, and it helps the story just mean so much more. So in conclusion, you're gonna love this cast. Now, let's talk about gameplay. One of the biggest weak points in the original has now become one of the strongest points in this remake. The combat is seriously fun, and honestly, I was pretty worried because Toy Logic really never makes these types of games, but man, did they prove me wrong. The overall combat is just so smooth. You could slap Platinum Games on this, and honestly, I would believe you. This was a huge step for NieR Replicant, but of course, it isn't perfect. During boss fights, there are these weird little clocks where you have to do like a DPS check, and honestly, it kind of ruins the flow of the whole fight, but hey, at least you get to see a cool cutscene. Overall, I'm really satisfied with the combat. So it's time to answer the question, what exactly has changed? Well, there was plenty. For starters, the graphics have taken a huge step forward, and I mean they look fantastic compared to what they were. In fact, it almost looks better than Automata. And oh my god, the brand new character models look beautiful. And Kaine, bro, I know I'm not the only person who would just let this woman just absolutely beat the shit out of me and just spit all over me. And I know you guys are gonna say, oh, you're so down bad. Bro, I wanted to crush my ball. Another thing they changed was actually the soundtrack. They ended up remastering the entire soundtrack, redoing even the vocals. There are also new soundtracks for new content with the game. One thing that stays consistent with Yoko Taro games is usually the pretty decent story and the amazing soundtrack. Keiichi Okabe, the composer who works with Yoko Taro, just pumps out these absolute bangers every single game, and it just meshes with the story perfectly. Every song just sounds better, and you can really tell once you actually play them side by side. These songs are just magical, you just can't find this style anywhere else. The soundtrack sets a perfect atmosphere no matter where you go. There wasn't a single time in this game where I felt like the soundtrack was out of place. And there are times where the soundtrack just hits the spot and all you can say is,
this is exactly what I've been waiting for. This is exactly.
I honestly cannot tell if this is recency bias, but Replicant's soundtrack is giving Automata's soundtrack a run for its money. Now, onto the progression. Pretty straightforward. Quest, do them, proceed. But of course there's extra content, you can go and do some side quests, except you really won't because they fucking suck! Yeah, the side quests in this game fucking suck. Most of them are fetch quests, but they're all tedious and annoying, and there's the occasional kill quest, which is pretty cool. But good lord, it is almost impossible to locate half of the shit that you need to do. The information that you're provided to do these goddamn quests are provided in a single sentence, talking about a vague area. No minimap indicator or anything. They just slap you in the ass and say good luck. And you would think that they would give you some good reward, but nope. All you get is some chump change and a nice little story.
Ah, yes, your fee. Well, us shop owners passed the hat and came up with this. I hope it's enough.
You kidding me? I'll be honest, the story is pretty interesting behind those side stories. I just personally feel like they weren't worth the trouble. Alright, our next subject. Creative choices. You know, the great thing about Yoko Taro games is that it's like get a bunch of other games jam-packed into one. There are times in this game where you just go, holy shit, this is awesome. And there's also other times in this game where you just go, and really, it just... You know what? I did write like 3 paragraphs about this section, but you know what? I'll just show you guys instead. Oh my god. Oh! Why do you step forward? What? I fucking hate this. What did I do? What did I do? What did I do? Oh my god. Dude, this is literally... This is Silent Hill, dude. Can't run. Opening doors like that? That's definitely a fucking reference. There's something about just jogging like this. Just freaks me out. About... Oh! Oh shit! Is this like a Diablo reference or something? Yeah, that really about sums it up. Some things were really cool, but some things also just really sucked. I'm kinda like in a gray area, but at this point I really feel like the bad almost outweighs the good. And not only that, you have to actually replay a good portion of the game to get the other endings. So that annoying shit you did back then, you're gonna have to do again. And oh my god, fuck book mode, dude. They just felt like they were cutting corners and just being plain lazy about it. I understand it can suck to spend all that time making a cutscene and whatnot, but at least provide some image in the back or something. It was just a black screen with text on it. Not only that, it was mandatory to continue with the story. They also had this in Automata, but it was completely optional. In conclusion, there were cool nods to other games, but man, book mode could have been so much more. So, what's the verdict? It's a pretty decent game. People need to understand that clearly this is not better than NieR Automata. And it never aimed to be. What it did aim for was to be better than the original. And by that standard, they nailed it. This was in fact a very loyal remake to NieR Replicant. They simply just made it better and added new content. But objectively as a game, it shows age. And that was simply because they wanted to keep the feel from the original. It's an overall pretty decent game. This is a great game to pick up if it's on sale, but I cannot justify $60 for this game. What really keeps this game afloat is the story, the soundtrack, and the gameplay. One of the things that really did kinda bug me was how much of a pain it was to go and get every ending. But you really have to look at it as a reward for all your hard work. It's not like Automata where every ending actually mattered to the story. And that's something I feel like a lot of Automata fans are gonna have to go and deal with once they play this game. So with all things considered, I'd score this game a 7 out of 10. It's a really good bargain game. You can just pick it up whenever it's on sale. And if you're an Automata fan that's interested in where it all came from, this game does a good job of just telling the story.